Hello, I'll be talking to you today about orchid care. Orchids are very common plants, and you can find them in most of your supermarkets and garden centres. Orchids are very much of a house plant, and they like humid conditions. It's best to place them in a bathroom or somewhere where it gets sunlight, but it's not direct and it won't get too hot to dry out. Um, with orchids, it's best during flowering time to let the flowers grow and let the shoot come off, and that new shoot will produce buds and then flowers. Orchid flowers, it depends on what your species is, but they quite often um, can flower for about 1 to 2 months or even more. Um, so yes, when it comes to feeding your orchid, I strongly suggest you either use boiled water or rainwater or bottled water. The thing of orchids and with some other plants is that they're quite open to chlorine and other chemicals in tap water sources. Also, you can get um, feed for orchids. Um, it's very good. Usually in winter time, the orchid stops flowering. Then in the summertime, it starts to flower. So what I normally do, I add a drop of this feed in the bottle. It's a spray bottle, and I spray the orchid plant about once a week in the winter, and that just gives the plant a bit of extra oomph, if you know what I mean. Because if winters in the UK are quite dark and stuff like that, so that gives it a nice oomph. Um, if you keep your orchid in good conditions, um, there's a good chance that it will reproduce. Sadly, it's very difficult to get orchid seed. Um, the good way of getting it reproducing is to feed it a lot, and once the flower has developed and the flowers have gone, cut the branch to the nearest um, joint from the flower branch. If you cut it there and you put a support on just below the cut, in some cases that cut will produce a young plant. If you are lucky enough to have a young plant, you can propagate the young plant in a pot, but you will need special or orchid compost, which you can get from most supermarkets and retail outlets. Um, Orchid plants are fantastic house plants. They're great for small flats, stick them in the bathroom, offices, classrooms, bedrooms, all sorts of places, and you can come in all sorts of colours, shapes, sizes. The one that I've got at the moment is a white one, but you can get tiny ones, really big ones, specialist ones, and yeah, they're great plants, and I strongly suggest, if you haven't got one, if you're thinking about a house plant, then I suggest an orchid is the best house plant for you. When it comes to watering, like all plants, it is good to water probably once a week. But it's not going to die if you don't water it or you forget for a week or so. So yes, hope you've enjoyed this video, and please rate, subscribe and comment.